Success transcends cities. As one of the world's most respected business leaders, I know what it takes. Join me now as I sit down with fellow leaders and we share our insights into how you can be successful. My name is Jeffrey Hayzlet, and this is All Business.
When it comes to trading, there are sometimes obstacles that stand in the way for traders. Hesitation in losing too much or too fast, not having enough to trade as large as you would like, are just to name a few. Well, my guest today has been trading markets for over 15 years and has developed numerous trading tools, arbitrage trading strategies, and even an exchange trading platform. Darrell Martin is the founder and CEO of Apex Trader Funding, a company who believes in helping traders trade well. Darrell, welcome to All Business with Jeffrey Hayzlet. Hey, Darrell, the first question I have to ask you, because I went looking into your background, was that you were a weightlifter, that you've got a big title in weightlifting. Is that true?
Yeah, I was actually the U.S. national powerlifting champion. So,
my gosh,
bench press and squat and deadlift, all that.
Oh my gosh, how does that translate into trading? Is it helpful at all?
Not giving up. So,
well, and I got to imagine there was a lot of long days and nights training, and you do that in trading every single day, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you push yourself and learn when to stop, learn when to push through. So, yep.
That's a lot of parallels. So I know that trading wasn't what you started off to do. What's your profession prior to founding Apex?
I actually owned a VoIP telecom company. And it's the first company to do coast-to-coast unlimited long distance. So,
and then what got you started and interested in trading?
Went to a conference. Some guy was talking about options trading and red and green arrows, all that. My family didn't really have a background in investing or trading at all. I came from a pretty poor family. And so that piqued my curiosity. I bought the $500 course, and we've all bought one of those at some time or another. And of course, that didn't teach me anything, but it got me into it. And I just got my hands on everything I could, found people that knew what they were doing. And, pretty shortly after that, I actually quit my day job and went full-time into trading.
And so what was that timeline like for you from the first time you took the course until you said, hey, I think I can make a real living at this and I'm going to get it started? We'll talk a little bit more about Apex itself and the company, how it operates, because it's just fascinating to me. But what was that timeline? Was it a year, 2 years, 3 years, 10?
I studied for about a full year before I, just went full-time trading. So I spent, quite a bit of time because, I didn't have it laid out for me. I was reading this book, going to that seminar, going to this seminar, getting this coach, getting that coach, and trying to figure out what my system was and exactly how I was going to trade. And then from that point, sort of move forward. I traded options for a couple of years, about 2 or 3 years, and dabbled in Forex and then ended up in futures, which is what I mainly trade.
Did you go and work at another trader, or was this the things that you were doing on your own?
To begin with, it was just me on my own. And then a company hired me to do research for them and on different option strategies. And so I thought that was sort of a cool gig. They let me, stay home like 3 days a week and trade, and then go into the office a couple of days a week and teach traders different strategies. So that was, pretty cool opportunity to do while you're trading. And so I did that as sort of a part-time gig while I was trading full-time. And, that lasted for like a year or two. And then I moved on and decided I wanted to just stay doing my own thing.
So tell me about Apex. What is Apex? What's it do? Who's it for?
Well, Apex started off as an education company. I was actually just building training courses for my daughter who was about to be born. And that was 16 years ago. And just so something happened to me, then she would have something to fall back on and learn and do and not have to go through all the crap that I had to go through to figure out how to trade. And one of my friends taught me into turning it into a company, because that wasn't my intent at all. It's just to make videos for her. After doing that for about 15 years, I saw a big need for funding for traders who didn't have the money to trade or didn't want to risk the retirement account. The kids call it savings account, thing like that. Looked at a lot of different companies. I tried one out for a while. Basically figured out that nobody was doing it for traders. It was companies doing it for themselves more than anything. And so I really wanted to, be like buy traders for traders, and not Wall Street traders doing it for traders, but actually like Main Street traders like myself doing it for other Main Street traders. And so I started up Apex Trader Funding, and I mean, it took off.
And it's been quite a success since then. I know some of the background of all the things you're doing. For those that don't know, and you mentioned Main Street trader versus a Wall Street trader, what's the difference?
Wall Street trader, they're used to having the inside, the order flow, trading on the floor. They're not used to the regular platforms that Main Street traders have access to, that Wall Street traders have access to, that Main Street traders don't. A lot of the tools that Wall Street traders may have, Main Street traders don't. They're not used to having. Wall Street traders may have all the algorithms. They have the access to the floor and getting to feel, what the heartbeat of the floor is. What their buddy's doing, what that bank is doing, what this bank is doing. All that. Main Street traders just has a screen. And they don't have other people's money, other people's funding. They just have their own cash account. A lot of those other traders are trading banks' money and things like that. So, learning how to, grow up and trade in that Main Street trader environment where, trading my own money, risking my own money, risking my wife's 401k, we cashed out so we could trade and, all that, puts a whole different feel, a whole different psychological pressure on you. And so coming from that mentality and then having to work your way up and figure it out without having, all these coaches and, everybody around you, that comes from that world. Whereas when you come up as a Main Street trader, sort of nobody around you knows what you're doing. They're just like, oh, you're just a day trader. Okay, you're just gambling, whatever, And so you're really on your own. And so I was trying to build a community where you're not on your own, and then trying to also, like I said, build the funding where you're not having to risk your own capital in the process.
So for those that don't know, what's an evaluation and funding firm?
Okay. So an evaluation and funding firm is where you come in and you pay for an evaluation, like $150. Okay. And when you pay for that evaluation, you're trying to make so much money without losing so much money. And so like say make $3,000 without losing $2,500. Okay. And if you do that, then we fund you with a $50,000 account. Now we don't let you risk all $50,000, but $50,000 of purchasing power. And basically that lets you risk about $2,500. Actually, exactly $2,500. And then, but if you lose that $2,500, once you get funded, you don't lose anything. So you're just out that evaluation and funding fee, which the funding fee is also like $150. Okay. So you're out, say $300 if you lose $2,500. But when you make money, you get to keep 90% of the profits. So you don't have to worry about blowing and losing your retirement account, over and over again, which a lot of traders do, right? They just lose money, lose money, lose money. So, I mean, you're out $150, $300, something like that. You can reset the account for $80, and if you lose $2,500, you can reset it for $80. So it's really a very good thing for the trader. And the funding company. How do we make money? Because that sounds like, well, how would the funding company make money? Is we have an AI that determines whether or not you're consistent and if you're using good risk management. If you aren't, then we're putting you in a simulation account, right? If you are, then we're copying your trades into a live account. So the AI knows where to place the trades in order to, basically manage our risk. And then if you're a really good trader, then we may do the same thing you're doing times 10.
Hey, Darrell, I have to interrupt you because it sounds almost too good to be true. I really want to go a little deeper on how you're making money and how other people are making money, because it sounds like you're guaranteed that they can make money. It's a no losing bet. So what it sounds like is you're betting on the people that win, and then you're putting more money behind it. So you're basically spreading out your ability to make money by betting on really smart people who are doing really decent trades, and you got AI working for you to follow all those. Probably, I've got to assume, tens and tens of thousands of trades that are going on.
Oh, there's an insane amount of trades going on. Yeah. So we're analyzing, trying to find the best traders. And then those who are struggling along, like I said, we put them we're not copying their trades into the live, and it allows traders to not lose their investment money because they're not investing any capital. There's no deposit of capital that you're making that you're risking. You're just paying for an evaluation fee. And then you're paying for an account activation fee, and then we cover the data fees. So you just pay for evaluation fee, $150, or less than that half the time. If you use certain coupon codes, you can get half off. And Most traders are used to putting up $2,500, $5,000, $15,000, $30,000 to start trading. And a day trade, you got to, like in the stock market, you have to have at least 25 grand minimum to build a trade. We're trading in the futures market, which doesn't require as much, but still requires quite a bit of capital. And, you're risking all of it when you go up and trade. So, and you're investing that money, and if it drains down, you have to refill the account with all of your investment capital. With us, you don't have to do that.
So what are the potential advantages of day trading compared to longer term trading or investing approaches?
Well, day trading is more of an income strategy. So it's not a growth strategy of growing a portfolio over time. Also, in today's world, it's so hectic. Trying to figure out 10 minutes from now based on, price action, and this is just my opinion, is easier than trying to figure out what's going to happen over the next 6 months or 3 years. There's so many different things happening globally now. The Fed is doing so many different things now. There's all the presidential debates, all the just everything that's going on in the White House and Washington, and everything just makes it very, very difficult. What's going to happen with the dollar? Are we in a recession? Are we not in a recession? There's so many things that make it harder to me to figure out what's going to happen longer term than for at least the mainstream trader than it is just to sit down and trade for an hour or 30 minutes. Another thing is with futures, you can trade 23 hours a day. So not that you're going to trade that long, but 23 hours a day, the market's open, right? So you can sit down from 6 p.m. Eastern time to 5 p.m. Eastern time the next day, and you can trade any of that time you want to. So when you get home early in the morning, before work, whatever, and you can put on trade for, most of my trades last 10 or 15 minutes, so you can trade for a couple hours, good or bad, however it ends up that day, and then be done, and then go do your regular job while you're hopefully working towards making enough to maybe, hopefully quit that day job or just make that additional income you're trying to make, which we all need. So many people are needing to make these days with, the way the economy is going and inflation and everything else. Everybody's needing to make extra capital. So, and not that everybody does it, and not that it's in no way guaranteed or even easy, but, if you can at least lower your risk by, not having to risk your entire account, then that way, it puts you in a little better, I think, position psychologically to trade, because it's hard enough to trade. You add in the psychological factor in the back of your mind of what you're risking in the process, the rent, the mortgage, the retirement account, the college savings account, whatever, that messes with you. You become afraid, and that fear always creates bad decisions. And so if you can remove that psychological fear, I think it helps you become a better trader.
So I have to ask you, why would an individual want to use your services versus somebody else, the competition? Because I do know there's a number of these that are out there, but I know you're at the very top of you're the apex, that's hence the name, but you're at the very top. And I do know that, but what would make them want to use you versus somebody else?
Well, like I said, we were made by traders for traders. And what that means is I built the service because at first I was looking at promoting somebody else's. But we made none of them were made how I would have wanted them to be made to be as a trader. And so I made the company as how another trader would want it. And the number one thing, how would a trader want it? A trader would want it where it pays out the most money possible, right? And we're paying out, our second largest, the second competitor that's the second one closest to us, we paid out more in 2 months than they paid out in the last 3 years. So, just to give you an idea, we're paying out they paid out 10 million in the last 3 years. We paid out 8 million in the last 30 days.
Wow.
So I built it to not be built on just fees and collecting fees from people and all this stuff, but actually payouts. And so we're accomplishing that. We're paying people out. And we have one of the highest, if not the highest, pass rates per trader that I've taken into evaluation. The way our rules are set up, a lot of them have a lot of extra rules set up. And, so that right there. So not only do we pay out a lot, but we also have high payouts. And these companies have been in business for 10 years. We've been in business for 2, and we're paying out that kind of money compared to them. So, they've been in business for a long time, yet they still haven't achieved the kind of payouts we're achieving. So like I said, built how I wanted. I would have wanted it how any trader would want it to be built, in my opinion, which is to teach them how to manage size, how to manage risk, and how to manage profit. So you got to learn those 3 things. And we have a number of education companies on our tools page you can check out as well if you've never traded before, to learn how to trade. So, we also have that built in with the trader education. And it's a separate company, but it's, like one that offers like free education. So people can learn how to trade if they've never done it before. So just sort of everything that somebody would need to learn how to trade and to have the capital to trade all put together, in one place.
Do the traders get a chance to get in the room with you and learn more?
In my other company, Apex Investing, which is on the tools page of apextraderfunding.com, I have a trade room, and I get in there when I'm available to, and then I'm traveling a lot and things, but and then usually it'll be in the morning between like 8 and 10 a.m. Eastern time. And then, but there's always a couple traders in there that I've taught how to trade over the years. Like I've worked with for like a decade, and that are teaching and training and calling out trades and walking through the system that we teach. So like I very much teach to, learn to become the guru, don't follow the guru. So my system is very A, B, C, D. It's not like you have to tilt your head sideways to see the certain thing on the chart line up. So our system is like that. It's very, if this happens and this happens, then you get in, and here's where you get out if it goes against you, and here's where you get out if it goes in your favor. It's very, very precise. And we teach that. We have traders that call out trades that follow that system, in the room. And people are, they're able to follow along if they want, or just learn, or, whatever they want to do. And other traders call out trades in the room too. It's a community of traders, come together to do that. So, yeah, but there's definitely a chance to hear me in the room and then hear other traders in the room that I personally have mentored over the years.
We were talking about these traders. Now, I've been at a couple of conferences. I was with you at Randy Tate's iFlip conference, and all of a sudden, all these people started flooding around this one guy looking over his shoulder, and I found out he was one of those traders. And you guys are kind of like rock stars, right? People follow you, go into the rooms, want to hang out, almost short of probably autographs, but they're trying to get those inside tips, right?
Right. Yeah. They're always asking for, what's the trick? What's the secret? Yeah.
Well, what is the secret? Since I got you on, what's the secret?
The secret is patience and discipline.
Yeah. Hard work. It's right.
Yeah.
It's always hard work. That's doing it right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can have the best system in the world, literally, but just say a perfect system existed. Okay. It doesn't. But let's say a perfect system existed. You will guaranteed mess it up if you don't have patience and discipline. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter how good the system is. People are always chasing the best system. What's the best combination of indicators and this and that and everything else? It's like the best system is you. Just learning to be patient and disciplined and wait on that right trade. Once you got that, then you don't blow your account in 5 seconds. So now you can actually live longer as a trader. And then you can work on actually developing a system. But if you can't execute the system consistently through patience and discipline, no system will work.
I like to watch poker players, same thing. Poker players consistent. By the way, most of them, throw their cards in more than they bet. So I always think that's kind of an interesting. So they have that system. So what are some of the skills or characteristics the successful day traders often possess besides that, in terms of working that system? What is it?
Okay. A standard deviation is how far the market has moved. Okay. An implied deviation is how far the market expects the market to move. So
that's what you can bet on, right? I mean, that's what you're betting on.
It is. So because it's everybody putting their money where their mouth is. It's what determines the price of options. And so it's very accurate. And so they know how far a market is expected to move that day. And you really don't go beyond, you don't really play beyond that level. So it may go 3 or 4 times that, but that's an oddity. 80%, 78% of the time, it's going to stay between this range for that day. Yeah. So, knowing those standard deviations. And then, of course, they're going to be just aware of the heartbeat of that market. They focus on 1 or 2 markets. They're not spread out. They're not picking between 20,000 different stocks, and trying to follow the hot pick of the day. They probably trade the exact same thing almost every single day. Now, they're not married to it. If that market changes and it just goes flat or whatever, they'll change over to a different market. But they stick to 1 or 2 markets at the same time, and they don't change that market often.
Let me ask you a question about what advice you would give to somebody who's considering day trading as a career or an investment strategy. What are the realistic expectations for returns? Can I expect to be a multimillionaire? What can I expect?
You can expect to take some time learning. So a year to 3 years before you really start to become consistently profitable where it means something. So if you're going to become profitable, it's going to probably take you that long, but it's a profession. It's not just a side little hustle hobby like mowing lawns, it is a profession. It's full on gardening, right? So you're going to have to learn a lot of little things, and you're going to have to find people that know what they're doing and follow them and learn from them. Don't just think you're going to follow YouTube videos and that you're going to become a millionaire. That's the biggest mistake I see people. Oh man, I'm watching all these YouTube videos. I'm like, you're in the wrong spot. Those are guys just trying to get famous and make money on ad clicks. And if it's free, it probably is worth nothing. So
yeah, and most of those what I call false prophets, they're making money on the churn and burn. They're right. Counting on people dropping out, not making it, and signing up the next person, showing you the secrets right. Behind door number one to show there's one behind door number two. There's always those people, right?
Right. They want to sell you one course to sell you another course to sell you another course. Yeah. Yeah. Here's an example. Our courses, the courses that for my education company, the first month is free with no credit card. The second month is $1. The month after that is $200. Yeah. Why do I do that? Well, because I believe that if you stick with it, that you'll end up loving it and it'll work for you. I also believe that if you hop on there and you just sign up and you think somebody's going to spoon feed you, you're going to drop out. So, which is what I'd say 80% of the people do. They sign up, they never do anything, they drop out. I don't want their money, So, but if somebody's willing to invest time into it, I'm saying, hey, I'm going to let you see behind the door, behind the curtain. I'm going to let you see all the secrets. If you think it's worth it for you, you keep moving forward. If you don't, no harm, no foul, move on. So versus trying to get $10,000 up front for the course and you find out what's behind the curtain,
Well, I tell you what I like with you. It's almost like it's crowdfunding, but it's like crowd trading. And the benefit for you clearly is that you're getting thousands and thousands of successful traders and you're using that on the backside. You're backing them, but they're showing you the inside of other places that you might not have invested in the past. I think that's a brilliant way of doing it. Let me ask you one last question because I know we're running out of time. And that is, can you give me an idea of some successful stories of traders that have been funded by Apex? You got to have one or two of those like, whoa, they almost hit the lottery.
I have them from all ranges. I had a guy who just said, I got a check, it was a lot larger than my Social Security check. That was cool to hear. And then I've had people say, my wife got to quit her job. I just paid a guy $750,000 this month that, rocked it. We've had $1 million traders, that we paid out that have just taken it by storm, that really learned. One guy, he would come in and pass and fell over and over again for like 6 months. And I finally got on the phone with the guy because he was just going and going. I'm like, what are you doing? And because I could see he was just like going all in, and he's like, what do I need to do? Give me some advice, and I'm like, I can't advise you, but here's what I can tell you is that you need to slow down and trade smaller. And I was like, that's it. I was like, you're a good trader. Just slow down and trade smaller, because he was trading too big. And he was trying to make it all in 5 minutes. And he slowed down. He traded smaller. Literally, a guy within the next 6 months made more than $1 million, And so, we have like all ranges of stories coming in, and they're really cool to hear. So, but that was sort of cool. Like he literally told me 6 months later, he's like, that was the turning point for me. He's like, when you told me, like, just stop, slow down, trade smaller, and you'll do it. And he's like, so I decided, I was like, what do I have to lose at this point? So we did it, and it paid off.
Fantastic. Well, living the American dream every single day. And of course, you're helping the free enterprise system make money. And these are great side hacks or main hacks, if that's what you want to turn into. But this is an opportunity to do it. Darrell, thanks so much for joining us right here on All Business with Jeffrey Hayzlet, right here on C-Suite Radio and C-Suite TV. At the end of every show, I like to talk about what I learned right here on All Business. And Darrell gave me a number of insights. And I got to be real honest. Some of the things that he talks about and does, I don't understand. It's just not in my mindset. I'm used to buying and selling businesses, not buying and selling stocks or futures. But a couple of the things that he said are tried and true in any business. One of those, you got to have a system. All right. You have to work a system that works for you. And even when I'm doing marketing for businesses, I have a certain way of doing what works because I know it works. And that's what you have to do in trading. And I think that was very smart advice. The other one is you can't go too big too fast. For as much as it takes you to get there, that's how fast you can lose it as well. So building it up on a step-by-step basis so you don't lose it fast is a great way to be able to learn from one of the best. And we did that with Darrell today. Thanks for joining us on All Business with Jeff Hayzlet right here on C-Suite TV and C-Suite Radio.